Hey, this is Sam here from samnuku.com, and I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching today's business training that we put out twice a week. Today's video, what we're going to talk about is 7 business tips for small business owners that I learned from the man Ray Allen, who is actually a former NBA player, right? So the guy's a basketball player, but I watched an interview from him that only went for about 6 or 7 minutes, but man, there were some absolute nuggets that we could use and apply to not only life, but also our business and athletics as well. Like really, these are more like principles that you could actually take away and use for just about anything. But I'm going to relate it to business and what it is that we all actually do, right? So the 7 takeaways that I had were repetition and preparation, being selective, job versus an entrepreneur, routine, quality versus quantity, pressure, and paying attention to detail. And I'm obviously going to tell you what it is that you want to do next. So let's get stuck into this training. Now, repetition and preparation. Ray Allen was basically asked, like they were talking about his very famous NBA final shot. He had a shot that like basically sent the game into overtime, and then that team actually ended up winning that game and ended up winning the NBA finals, right? And if he hadn't hit that shot, that they would have never had the opportunity to actually win the championship. And so, what he was talking about was repetition and preparation, right? In terms of like preparing for every single game, right? And like the what he was talking about was this shot that he took. It wasn't like an unfamiliar territory. It was something that he was comfortable with doing because he actually took 60 to 70 shots before the game even started in preparation for that particular situation. And obviously, when the opportunity came, he was able to take advantage of it, which speaks volumes to repetition and preparation in terms of us as business owners. The way we want to apply that is we want to be willing to put in the work so that when we're put into those specific situations, like webinars, live events, when customers ask us questions about what it is that we do and how we go about doing it, we are prepared and we've practiced to the point we are comfortable with the situation that comes up and we know how to go about handling ourselves. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself in his autobiography talks about life is about sets and reps. If you want to achieve anything, you've got to be willing to put in the steps and the reps to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. In other words, what he's saying is that you've got to be willing to put in the work, right? You've got to be willing to prepare yourself, and you've got to be willing to put in the necessary amount of repetition to achieve what it is that you actually want to achieve. Okay, so takeaway number 2, business tip number 2 that I took away was being selective. Now, he was offered the opportunity to come out of retirement for a potential NBA championship, which would honestly entice any basketball player on the planet. It's not just the possibility of making an NBA championship, winning an NBA championship, but he's looking at like money, right? Like we're talking probably millions in terms of what he could have made for even just playing like half a season, right? Now that's not bad for 6 months work, for example, but what he basically said, which was really interesting, was he was not presented the right situation for him. Right now, that's an amazingly empowering belief system to have, to back yourself to the point where you're like, hey, you know what? That just ain't right for me. And that's what we need to do when it comes to our businesses, especially for us online entrepreneurs and us small business owners. We get shiny object syndrome, and I'm trying to convince you not to fall for it. What we really need to do is we need to choose wisely, we need to work diligently, and we need to keep going until. And that until is until we are successful. We need to keep going with what it is that we're actually doing if we want to be successful, not just going, oh, I'll give this a go for 3 months and see what happens. It's not the way it works, right? You put in the work, you keep putting in the work, and eventually you will get the results that you're after. So, my takeaway was like, especially for us online business owners, there's so many opportunities that come up to represent this company or to promote this product and so on and so forth, that what we really need to do is shy away from having shiny object syndrome. Stop buying the latest software, right? Looking for a shortcut to success. Be willing to just put in the work as per point 1, right? And just be willing to be selective. Choose something that really represents you and something that you can be proud of and something that you want to be a part of, that you want to promote happily to your tribe. Okay. Takeaway number 3 was the job mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset, which was kind of a transition in Ray's life. He was talking about the job that he had, which was like the NBA, for example, like, and what he did was is like someone would help him with his like help him with his diet, make sure he was on point with his diet, make sure he was in the weights room 10 times a month, and making sure that obviously he was playing basketball every single day, even days that they didn't have games. He'd be training like with the team and individually, is right, so that his game was on point. But then there was also like the comparison, like in terms of his transition from doing that to now just doing it for himself. Was that of a transition from a job to an entrepreneur or a business, right? And that is that we need to like be more responsible. We need to take more responsibility for the businesses that we're building as entrepreneurs. Like, there's not necessarily going to be a lot of people like trying to keep us on track, going, hey, did you did you write your blog post today? Did you put together your training video, right? Like, did you put together that audio that you were supposed to do? Like, things like that, where really it comes down to us, and we need to take responsibility because the business is yours, right? It's yours. You don't have a boss or a manager, like cracking the whip to keep you in line. And it is quite a shift, I'm telling you, to go from a job owner to an entrepreneur. It is very, very different. You have to have take responsibility, and you have to have the discipline and the wherewithal to go about getting done what it is that needs to get done, irrespective of how you feel or what it is that you want to do, right? Like at a job, all you really need to do is show up, punch a clock, and you're going to get paid. It ain't like that in business, right? You've got to put in the work. You've got to make the sales. You've got to bring in the orders in order for your business to tick over, right? So you just make sure that you're prepared for that transition if this is something in fact that you want to do. Okay. So another takeaway was having a routine or a schedule and being able to ritualize it. So Ray's pregame workout was literally legendary. There's really only one other person that I could think about that his pregame routine is talked about more, and that's Stephen Curry, and that is honestly mainly because he's a popular player. And his pregame workout is something that a lot of people follow. Like, it's just something that they do. Whereas like Ray, like he was famous like within amongst the players, not just like like there's not as much coverage back in those days as there is now, like, right, which is part of the reason why Stephen Curry's pre-workout is so popular. Like, but what he would do is like he would exercise. um he would do his early day workout, then he would get a nap, and then he would get up and have like chicken salad for lunch, and then he would go and get his pregame workout in, and then the game would start. Like, that was his game day routine, and he stuck to that like through 18 years of NBA career. And I don't even know, but I'm assuming that it actually was happening earlier on too, and that was kind of just became popular because he was in the NBA, or maybe because he had the time and money. But my rituals, for example, every single day is I like to exercise, I like to get in personal development, and I like to follow the business strategies and routines that I've put together to help me succeed in those different areas of life. And they're all important. They're all part of being the entrepreneur, right? What you really need to do is you need to figure out what your routine and schedule is and ritualize it. You need to make it so important that irrespective, you're going to get those things done, right? So for example, for me, when I put together my blog post, I always put together a training video. That's part of my schedule. That's part of my routine. That's part of my rituals. So even though it's midnight right now, like it's literally like quarter to 12 at night, I had to get this video done because it is part of the way that I do things, right? Like, you see what I mean? Like, you ritualize things to the point that you get it done irrespective of where you're at, how you're feeling, and what it is that you're doing, because it's just part of your routine, right? So you need to get to that point as well. Another takeaway that I had was quality versus quantity. Ray was talking about, people always ask him, like, they think it's a number. They think there's a big number in order to be successful. And us entrepreneurs have that mistake, especially us online business entrepreneurs. Like, we make that mistake as well of thinking, oh man, like I need like 1,000 subscribers, or I need like 100,000, subscribers. No, you don't. You really just need like a handful to build your tribe so that you can start making some serious money. And then you continue to build your tribe from there on out, right? Like, for example, my mentor himself, he made more money with 2,000 leads, 2,000 email subscribers than people would make like with people with like a 50,000 subscriber list. But that's because he focused on quality not quantity. Ray was talking about the same thing. Like his pre-game routine, he wouldn't get hundreds and hundreds of shots up before the game to loosen himself up. He would focus on 150 to 170 quality shots that he would actually be participating, that he would use for the game. That was part of his routine. That was part of his ritual, right? So focus on the quality, not the quantity. So my focus, for example, is I have 4 areas that I focus on a daily basis: my business, my health, my loved ones, and my mindset. And I repeat those things over and over again. And I understand that for some people that might be boring. I get it. The entrepreneurial life ain't for everyone. I'm telling you that much. But for me, like, these are the 4 things that are really important in my life. Like they are literally the top 4 priorities in my life, and there is no order, right? Like, except maybe my loved ones coming first, but like, my business is a close second, my health is a close second, mindset is a close second. For me, honestly, they're all number one. Okay, there is no number one, two, three, four, because without one, there isn't the other. They're all intertwined and they're all integrated in some way, shape, or form. So, what I'm going to ask you is, what are your 3 to 4 key tasks for that particular day to help you move towards the goals that you want to achieve, the things that you want to actually do? Like, for example, your business. Let's talk about business. What are the 3 to 4 things that you can do on that particular day that are going to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve? Do you need to put out a Facebook Live video? Do you need to put together a YouTube training video? Do you need to write a blog post? Do you need to put together your podcast, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, there are 3 to 4 key tasks that are more important than other things that you need to get done every single day. Like my business, for example, content is number one. So my social media strategy is one thing in terms of a key task. Blog posts are a key task. YouTube training videos are a key task. Facebook Live videos are a key task. Like you see, like for me, it's all about producing content and connecting with people. Emailing my list is a key task, but not all 5 of those things are done on a daily basis. 3 of those things are done on a daily basis, and then the other 2 I do 2 to 3 times per week. But they are my 3 to 4 key tasks. I base around those 5 things as to what it is I'm going to do on a daily basis to ensure that I achieve what it is that I want to achieve in my business. Okay, so um, the next point that I took away was pressure and preparation. So you need to prep for pressure because it is coming, right? Like, I understand that we get sold on the dream. We do actually, we do fall for the hype per se, where we get super excited about the sales letter that we saw, or the opportunities that we spoke to our friends about, or maybe the people that we connected with online. Like, they told us about the money that they were making, and we got excited. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That initial burst of energy is what's going to get you through the initial groundwork of setup, right? It is a must. It is part of the business world. But eventually, you need to prepare yourself for pressure because it's coming. Things are going to get difficult before they get better, right? It was something that I remember hearing once, and I'm like, shit, that's a really good takeaway. I'm going to remember that one. Things are going to get difficult before they get better. It's a simple fact of life. There are challenges for entrepreneurs every single day that we have to take on, okay? So how do you go about dealing with that pressure? Is you need to set goals. And you need to set goals, and you need to set timers. So say, for example, if you're going to put together a blog post, right? That's cool. Set yourself a timer. 2 hours to write that blog post and get it out. Get it done. Book it in, set that timer. And what's going to happen is, as you see that time ticking down, you're going to put more and more pressure on yourself to actually get that out. So you're going to say, and then, like, you've got dates, for example, like you need to get a blog post out on this date, a blog post out on this date, a blog post out on this date, and a specific timeline, for example. So by this time in 3 months, I'm going to get 20 blog posts out, just as an example, right? So you need to figure out what those are. You need to set those goals, and you need to start getting after it, because ultimately time is money, right? Like, well, no. The reason I said hang on a second is because I actually think that's complete bullshit. The fact is that time is a lot more precious than money. We substitute our time for money. Yeah, and that's where a job is so limiting, because say, for example, if you go for a day and you trade 8 hours for $200, right? That's it. You'll never get that time back again. It's gone. Once it's spent, it's gone forever, right? Money can be spent, and you can remake it. Yeah, which is why I love business so much, because you can spend the same 8 hours, and you might not get $200 immediately, but if you spend that same 8 hours and you put together like content, that content's going to be available online forever. Someone could stumble across it. Like, I've literally made money from content that I've put together like 5 years ago, and I'm not even fucking kidding. I'm literally about to wrap up in the next 2 weeks a $1,000 sale based on based on content that a customer reached out to me in another niche that I put together 5 years ago. And he came to me and he goes, "Hey, dude, look, are you still offering the service?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, man." But what it was is like that channel is now shut down, so he wasn't sure if it was still active or not. And like I literally wrapped up like $1,000 deal, a $700 deal as well from a customer from the same thing as well. So that's $1,700 from content that I produced 5 years ago. Think about the power behind it, right? Like it's not about the immediate hit when it comes to business. It's about building momentum. It's about creating more and more content. It's about being out there and being present and making a difference in people's lives. When they're ready for the solutions, they will come knocking. All right. So remember, your time is a hell of a lot more important than money. So, guys, those are my 7 key takeaways from Ray Allen's interview. What I also had was, because you're wondering like what's next. So first and foremost, you need to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this training, right? And I'm assuming if you're still here that you probably loved it. I put out these quality kinds of in-depth trainings twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week when I have the time, because I love to put content out there. I love to put training together that's actually worth people's while, because I know when I'm searching for stuff, I really appreciate it, and I remember the people that actually put something that's worthwhile together. Not like a 1 hour friggin' presentation where like they talk 30 minutes about themselves. There's like 15 minutes of content and then they try and sell you some shit at the end, right? That's not what this is about. This is about me connecting and putting stuff out there of value. And I know that, hey, when you're ready to do business, that you'll get in touch with me, right? That's the whole purpose of all of this. So what I want you to do for now is subscribe to the channel, and then I want you to go and get my 8-step plan to grow your audience and create a hyper engaged email list. This is a 8-part training that I put together with my mentor, my millionaire mentor. Like this guy's literally made $1 million online, legit, right? So he and I put this training together, like just for you, just for my subscribers, and join me basically as I walk you through a blueprint that you can use to make your first $1 million online. It is a blueprint that I've used, right? Because obviously I got it for him, and then I've added my own twist and my own flair to it, so that you can really kind of understand and grasp it as well. And the joy of being one of my subscribers is that now you have personal email contact to me. You can reply and ask questions. You can connect with me on Facebook and so on and so forth. All right. So look, go ahead and grab that training. Click on the link below if it isn't available on this actual video, and go ahead and subscribe to that. And because I really want to help make a difference in your business, right, and in your life. So I appreciate you again for stopping by and watching this video. Take care, much love, and I will see you in the next training.